start with the second. That's not me. With Orchos Tzaddikim. And our big topic is the gate of haughtiness. Very interesting topic, very involved. And we continue with the next paragraph. And it says, there is a positive aspect of haughtiness. If one's body, lest the person say, since the haughtiness is such a bad trait, I shall separate myself from it for its too extreme, so that I will not eat meat, not will drink wine, nor take a wife, nor live in a comfortable home, nor wear becoming garments, but only sackcloth and a stiff wool, and the garments that are torn and soiled, and he will be used dirty, ugly utensils, and he will not wash his face, hands, and feet until he looks worse than the other men, and all this to remove himself from haughtiness, and to the furthest possible extreme. One who follows this course is called a sinner, as it is written in the relations of Nazir, and he shall not make and he shall make atonement for himself for sinning against his soul, by Midbar 6:11, concerning which our sages have said, if Nazir who abstains only from wine is called a sinner, how much more so one who abstains from everything? It's from Ta'anis 11a. Our sages have stated further, it is not enough for you what Torah forbade, that you have forbid yourself other things. It's from Yerushalmi Nedarim 9:1. About such a course and similar one, Shlomo said, do not be overly righteous and do not be overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? So from Kehelah 7:16. Proper course for a man to follow is to be clean. Is to follow to be clean of all of in all of his affairs. For cleanliness is the road to the goodness. Okay, so I guess 1 second. Let me see. Here's the next paragraph. Oh, you know what? Let's continue, because it's continuation of the topic. Yeah, continue. Okay. Okay. What should he do? Let him wear average clothing, neither expensive, gaudy attires that everyone stares, not pauper's clothing that shame the wearer, but plain, pleasant, clean garments. The poor man according to his poorness, the rich man according to his wealth. And it is forbidden to wear stained or soiled garments. They should not be torn. They should not be fashioned like the clothing of the haughty. Right, again. His food too should be clean. He should not eat food of royalty, but plain food and a plain drink as he can afford. He should not drink or eat from the repulsive vessels, lest he transgress. Do not abominate yourself. Vayikra 11:43. But all should be done with cleanliness. Also, his table and a bed should be clean, and all of his affairs should be clean. His body too should be clean, and not sweaty. He should take care of his face, hands, and feet, and also the entire body at regular intervals, as we find in the case of Hillel the Elder, when he took leave of his disciples and walked alone with them. They asked him, where are you going? So I made a clip from this piece. I'm not sure we publish or not, maybe. Okay. He answered to do a mitzvah. They ask, which mitzvah do you do? Right, you're going to do? He answered to bathe in a bathhouse. They asked, is it a mitzvah? He answered yes. He answered yes. If with respect to the statues of the kings that are set up in the theaters and circuses, the caretaker polishes and washes them, for which he is not only fed but also brought up among the royal dignitaries. I, who have been created in the image of Hashem and the likeness of Hashem, it is written, for in the image of God did he make man. Right, Bereshit 6:9. However, how much more should this apply? It's from Vayikra Rabbah 34:3. It is further written, Hashem made all for his sakes. Right, so we're going to explain. From Mishlei 16:4. All who are hateful of these things for the sake of the mitzvah, and are not intent upon adornment and aggrandizing themselves, though what they do may appear as a haughtiness, since their intent is for the sake of Hashem, there is a great mitzvah. Whoa! All right. So you see, it's a lot of information. Let's see. Let's start and see how much we're going to cover, because it's very interesting and a lot to learn. Okay, so let's do from the beginning. There is a positive aspect of haughtiness in one's body. So holiness meaning right. So let's say meaning that people sometimes they want to be too holy, but they do not too holy. They want to be righteous comparing to other people. Right, the people compare themselves to other people, but they do not know what to do. Right, so. Sometimes people ask me about some things they want to take up on themselves, and I see it's not coming from the right source. So I offer them something like trade-in and something like simpler, but they don't like it. I said, well, whatever you said, it's nowhere be found, right? But what I said, it's actually basic Shulchan Aruch. It's the basic of the basics. Right, so that's how you see that this intention is not from the right place. Okay, so it says since haughtiness is such a bad trait, so right, so it said okay, so I'm going to do opposite, right, and this opposite again. So people want to be like, right? Is it opposite because they want to be humble, or the opposite because of the being like looks like humble, they want to be haughty? That's also it's not so clear. Right, it depends on the person. Usually it's a second, the way I understand. So since the haughtiness is such a bad trait, I shall separate myself from it, and to the extreme, right, and so that I will not eat meat nor drink wine. So it's exactly as we, right, as we learned in Hilchos Dios some time ago, right, in the very beginning, when Rambam Zatzal explained that all of the extremes not good. So the person said, I'm not going to eat meat. I mean, that's not healthy. Right? The person should eat meat and enjoy on the holidays. Drink wine. Also, you have to drink wine, or at least grape juice or something. Right? Not to take wife. That's crazy, right? Not live in comfortable home. So basically, we're talking about a person who can afford, can do all of these things, but he chose not to. Because he wants to base all of the Torah on one mitzvah. And that's the problem with some people. Right? The Torah is all-encompassing. Don't concentrate on one thing specifically. Right? We have to do everything. So continue learning. That's why sometimes we go a little faster. Right? Sometimes a little slower. Because, if we get stuck on one part, we're never going to advance. Never. And I know people... They say I've been learning Torah for 20 years, 40 years, and they know, like in my mind, a little more than zero. I mean, in that field that they learn, yes, they may be expert, and they can say, tell you repeat what Talmud says on one page, and said, but what is the halacha? So there is different opinions. So I say, okay, name me the opinion. I'm fine with opinions. right? And many times people do not know because they concentrate on one thing like too much. And other things they say, yeah, you have to go to that rabbi, this rabbi. How about you? Right? Okay, so not wear becoming garments, right? So we said many times that we are representative of Hashem. You cannot wear not becoming garments like soiled or some dirty or like ripped or something, right? But only sackcloth and stiff wool. So with this sackcloth and stiff wool, so we understand he wants to attract attention, right? That's most common thing. And the garment that are torn and soiled, and he will use the dirty, ugly utensils, right? And he will not wash his face, hands, and the feet until he looks worse than the other men. And sometimes, like it's right. I mean, hopefully, I hope that so it smells so bad from some people. I hope that they have not. It's like hope. I wish that they have good excuse, like I don't know, maybe some skin condition, like very severe that they cannot take a bath or something. So it would be excused, like it would be understandable. But sometimes maybe like looks like it's not. They chose to do this, unfortunately. Right. Right. So he does not want to wash the hands and feet, and looks worse than other men, right? And it is haughtiness in it, and all this to remove himself from haughtiness to the first possible extreme, right? That's how you like this example in my mind. You can apply to all the people who do not have guidance, right? So they would try to be very holy, but looks like not. One who follows this course is called a sinner, for it is written in relation to Nazir, and he shall make atonement for himself for the sinning against his soul. Right. So Torah says this person Nazir, he is actually very praiseworthy. Right. So he abstained from wine. Why? It's Talmud says because once this guy look at he came to the Beis Hamikdash and he witnesses the procedure of the soda, so he was shocked. He saw everything. He was shocked, and then he was like coming. He was pasturing the sheep, and he looked at the the river, and he saw his reflection that he's very handsome. So he thought, I am so handsome, guy with long hair. Maybe women would like me. Maybe, and he remembered the soda, so he went and became Nazir. So at this coin, I think Kohen Gadol actually blessed him that he should be successful, the blessing, right? Because this guy had a fear of the sin, and that's what he did. Like, what could be more praiseworthy when the young guy understands these consequences? And guess what? After he finishes his, not he, but in general rule, his time, whatever is it, 30 days, 90 days, or whatever is it, 1 year, right? So he has to bring the atonement. So say, what do you mean atonement? For what? He did not break any rule of Nazirus. For what atonement? For he sinned against his soul. Hashem created the bread, it's understandable, wine and other things to enjoy, right? So you have to enjoy. You don't have to abstain from everything. So just from this little abstainment, right, of wine, so he's called a sinner. So it's a bigger idea for us to understand. Hashem said, I create you in this world. You have to enjoy as much as I understand, as I allow you. There are many restrictions. Don't add any restriction upon yourself. Whatever I have, whatever sages added, right? No more is necessary unless, as we said many times, he or she knows themselves and they know that they're weak in this area. Meaning what? They have to make stringencies for themselves. That's it. So, but it's it's actual, meaning they know for a fact that they fell in this area before, or this might lead to some sins. But it's based on the facts, not because of based on imaginations. Okay. So it says, if Nazir who abstain only from one is called a sinner. How much more so one who abstains from everything? Okay, Tanis 11a. Of course, if person is poor, cannot afford, that's a different story. We're not talking about him. Okay, we're talking about person who can afford, but he wants to abstain. Our sages have stated further, it is not enough for you that the Torah forbade that you have to forbid yourself other things, right? So usually, from my experience, a show off. That's it. So if person wants to do something extra, so he would do it behind the closed door, like in public. He would like behave normal. That's it. But usually people do the opposite. Okay, so it's from Yerushalmi Nedarim 9:1. About such a courses, it's such similar ones. Shlomo HaMelech wrote, "Do not be overly righteous." Right, so meaning Torah says, Torah gave us definition what is right. Try to achieve that, not your definition. Righteous, and do not be overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? And these are things like wearing this clothing, not to take bath or not to eat normal food. Of course, it can destroy the person physically and mentally as well. So especially if other people do not pay attention, right? And commentaries say, okay, so do not be overly righteous. Okay. Mesillas Yesharim, chapter 13, explains that abstinence from the essential is sinful, whereas abstinence from a non-essential is meritorious. So before we continue, so Mesillas Yesharim there explains it, chapter 13. So he said that he's talking about abstention. What is abstention? Abstention meaning we're not talking about something that's forbidden. We're not talking about abstention from forbidden food. In chapter I think two or three, Mesillas Yesharim. That's a given. So now we're talking about abstention from something that is permitted, but persons minimize it. Right, and the examples that they give from food, like some meat, unless a person needs to eat meat for medical purposes, medical reasons, because nutrients, that's a different story. But if person does not need and eats meat only for enjoyment, so it's properly to abstain and eat only on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Right, Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of Yom Tovim and Shabbos every 7 days, there is no problem, right? And another abstention from marital relations, right? It's only do for a mitzvah, not like they say like a chicken, a rooster, like every day. Okay. Abstention is sinful, right? So meaning that first of all, what is abstention? It's from something that is permitted, but only when it's not essential. So meaning what is essential to take a shower is essential for everyone, right? So a person is not allowed to stay away. Meaning, I guess if a person like takes a shower 3 times a day, like it's too much, yeah, maybe he should or she should cut one, unless there is special medical reasons why they should. Right. Okay. But it's again, we're not talking about exception. We're talking about general situation. Every individual needs to do a personal introspection as to what is essential for him and what is not. Right. Again, every individual needs to do personal introspection as to what is essential for him and what is not. The following is account of Gemara Nedarim 9b as example of the above concept. Okay. So let's see. So meaning introspection, meaning what? That maybe I don't need this. Maybe like this takes too much of my time. I don't know. Maybe per person. I don't know. I'm just saying. I used to work with a guy, and then he liked to cook. I mean, he was divorced, I think, and he liked to cook, and he would tell me like I did this dish and this dish, and like and he said, you understand, it takes that much time and like about all the steps. I don't know why would a grown-up man like spend like so much time cooking. You understand? But he told me you don't understand. But there are many people. They watch this Food Network TV, and they try to emulate this case, like waste of life. So person basically like the basic idea, like what the basic necessity. What do you need? You need to eat, right? So make some nutritious food, but don't spend so many hours cooking. You understand? Continue. According to Gadol, Shimon HaTzadik saw a young man who was attractive long hair, over his shoulder beautiful locks, approaching the temple to perform ritual of Nazarite. Right. So meaning, before we continue, so a Nazir is supposed to abstain from wine and all of the grape products, meaning grapes, I think seeds and grape skins, like raisins, everything that has to do with grapes, right, and derivatives, must keep purity, right, from touching the dead, even walking on top of the grapes. Also, it's very difficult not to be under the same roof when somebody is dying. So today, you see, today's life is totally different. So today, for example, when somebody is close to death, the person would be in a hospital or in a hospice or like a nursing home somewhere, right? Somewhere. Not most likely not in the house, but in olden days, like there were no such institutions. So everybody would be in their house, and person might die like every moment. So meaning this this Nazir, he would come and he would have to inspect the house, ask people a question. I mean, right, because it's under the same roof. Can I be there? So maybe somebody is very elderly or very sick. Maybe somebody is going to die. It's like he has to be right, very vigilant. It's a second thing, and a third one. So he cannot shave his hair. Must grow them long, and then. When the time is up, so he has to bring this here. But I think, I'm not sure we read it learn it together, or I read it somewhere. Just I think last week. I think there was a special procedure that I was not aware of. That they actually were allowed to trim the hair. I think once a year. And. I don't remember what book was it, but it was the example that they gave for Avshalom. So 3 things this Nazir is not allowed to do. Okay, so and this guy, so he's telling our story. So let me quickly just read it. What prompted you to take an oath that would result in you having shaved off your beautiful hair? Right, so people were very proud of their hair. He asked, meaning the Kohen Gadol, and the young man said, one day I noted my reflection in the water, and seeing how handsome I was tempted to sin. Right, I knew the Yetzer Hara was luring me into sin, and I exclaimed, I swear to God that I will shave my head in his service. So right, that's the story. So he decided to shave his head because the hair makes everybody beautiful. Okay. The Kohen Gadol kissed him and said, "You are truly sacred Nazarite." Okay, so this is one of the stories that say about these people. Okay, this Nazarite meaning that he, whatever he did, it was was for show off, as we said before. But this young fellow did it for a Kiddush Hashem. Why? Because he wants to abstain from sin. That's actually also in Mesillas Yesharim, right? The fear of sin, chapter 25. In his book, Light Along the Way, Misora publication, Rabbi Dr. Avraham Tversky, not sure if he's alive, not sure, explain this young man, self-deprivation has a specific purpose. So this Rabbi Doctor, when people declare their title, you see what is the more important to them. Being doctor, meaning professor, right? Doctor is professor, or rabbi. So many people prefer doctor, right, to the rabbi, but he is different. He said Rabbi Dr. Tversky. All right, I think he led what is it? What is this? Some institution for what is it? The drug users recovery, something like that. Right. So he has a very beautiful book. I never read it, but I read like some parts, like in the other commentaries, light along the way. And it says this young man, self-deprivation has a specific purpose. He did not think that by taking this vow, he would become a super tzaddik, right? So, we were very interested. It was not his goal, right? So, when what we said before, when this person was doing all of these extra things, unnecessary things, that's what I said. Like, it's the intention is not. We don't know the intention of the person 100%, but many times it's not coming from the right source. Okay, but here he did not think. Okay, rather he felt himself extremely vulnerable to the sin and took the drastic step to avoid being entrapped in the Yetzer Hara by Yetzer Hara. Right, so meaning sometimes we obligated. It's not just suggestion, but we're obligated to make a drastic step. So from outside, the people will say, "Why would you do that?" Right? For them, it's nothing. But you evaluate yourself, and then you see, unless you do something drastic, like separate from people from the past, from your family, from other people who are trying to bring you back to your past. So sometimes you have to do drastic step. Just change your name, like. Change your name, change your phone number, change your address, change everything. Just disappear. Close all the social media accounts. Okay. Right. Drastic step. Avoiding being entrapped by Yetzer Hara. It seemed obvious that from the above Gemara that had it not been for that specific circumstances, the fear of being entrapped by Yetzer Hara, right, it would have been improper for the young man to take the law of Nazirite upon himself. So Rabbi Tversky said very interesting. So he drew like this conclusion further. So this Kohen Gadol, Shimon Chatzadik, right? So Shimon Chatzadik, he blessed this guy, young fellow. So meaning what? That he asked why he did he do it, and he gave a very valid reason, very commendable reason, right? So because he was scared that if he would not do this, he would sin. Meaning what? That opposite is also true. So like if you don't have this temptation, like if you don't have anything like coming your way, something bad, why would you want to do it? So that's very important. So we have to always take a self-evaluation, right, and see and try to understand our intention. Okay, so continue. Right, and from this piece we also made a clip, and it says, on the other hand, years ago, while in Kol, or even two clips, I think, I don't remember, in Kol, I had an unusual privilege, engage in conversation with Hagaon, Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, Zatzal. So Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, just so we know, so he was, I think, Havrus of Moshe Feinstein Zatzal. I think him, Rav Kamenetsky, and Rav Victor Miller. I think there were three friends. I think so. Right, right. It's they from the same region, from Belarus, I think. Although I think Rabbi Victor Miller was in Lithuania as well. Okay. Doesn't matter. So he's, it does matter. So greatest of the great. So Shmuel Kamenetsky, he's, I think he's 100 years old. 99, right? 99, 100 years old. Right, so his son, right, during the visit to our shiva. So this this great tzaddik, right, so he came to his yeshiva, to yeshiva, this author. He said to Rabbi Yaakov that after studying halacha, the Mishnah Brura often says one who seeks higher standards should be more strict, right? So meaning Mishnah Brura, the Holy Chafetz Chaim. So he said halacha is like that. But there is expression, we also use them many times, bal nefesh, yichmir, right? So meaning yachmir. So meaning that the bal nefesh, meaning that the person who cares about his soul should be machmir, maybe stringent. Okay, so meaning if somebody does not do whatever it says here, so the person did not violate any halacha. So I think what would be the example? Maybe wash your hands when you wake up, right? To put the basin and the cup right next to your bed. So that would be preferable. According to all opinions, but according to some opinions, so if you have a bathroom right there, like you can walk and stuff like that, so under the same roof, they can, according to some opinions, it's considered to be like dalet amos, 4 amos. Okay, so all these things, but right, bal nefesh, so would not eat, for example, some things. Here's another example. So if animal was dying because it was old, right? And they did shchita, right? They did shchita, and after checking for shchita, they did not find anything. I mean, fine. Everybody knew that this cow was dying, like maybe matter of hours or something, right? But just because it's dying from the old age does not mean that it has some diseases, like some like. Deficiencies, some deficiencies would make it treif. No, right? So it says, are you allowed to eat 100%? But bal nefesh would not eat it. Okay. So he continues. So just I need to explain this conversation, right? So meaning that although the average person may conduct himself one way, someone who considers himself being on more careful with halakhic issue should be more stringent. So meaning, is it halakhically allowed? Yes, 100%. But somebody who wants to get to different level, so yeah, see, he should do act more stringent. And one of the examples, for example, we know in a community where they live in Lakewood, right? And Lakewood, people who in the cold. So what they do, for example, they would open refrigerator door only, even though it is allowed. It is allowed, as we learned in our Shabbos kitchen class. It is allowed to open the refrigerator door. There is no problem. But bal nefesh, these people would not do it like with their hands, but through the towel. So they would put like on the door handle refrigerator towel and pull the towel. So meaning extra step to be removed. Even though according to all of the simple all other people would do it no problem, but they would try to be more careful. So just a few examples. I asked him whether the average kol avrech fits into Chafetz Chaim category bal nefesh. Right, so meaning, he said, I'm not special. Not everybody who is in kol like a big star, just so we know. Right, regular people. He learns a lot, and as I said, doesn't matter, right? So some people diligently learn. Some people just go there because they don't like to go to different jobs, right? Unfortunately, the community have to pay them. Okay, so he's asking. So I'm nothing special, right? Am I bal nefesh? In other words, whether I should conduct myself with the most strictness, in those cases, Rav Yaakov said, yes, you should. Right? So like he asked yes or no, he said, yes, you should. Okay. But I said, I'm not I'm not on such madrega. Right, and that's a very famous expression, madrega. Madrega is level. So you're on this madrega, you go into that madrega. Right, and Yaakov Rabbi Yaakov looked at me straight in the eyes and said, unforgettable words. You put yourself on that madrega. Right, and many people go through life saying to themselves, I'm not on that level. There is for Gidolim, right? For great people, for Rosh Hashivas, and for Rabbanim, but not for me. And just so we know, and we spoke about it before. I used this idea when answer one of the questions. So people make this madrega, like make the levels and confinements that themselves. Nobody ever put anybody on any level. You understand? So people put themselves on the level, more like in most of the cases on a much lower level that they could have been, right? Because they decided, yeah, I'm this level, and that's why therefore I would never advance, which is a big problem, huge problem. And the day of their lives, they remain on the same level as they were at the beginning of their lives, never growing the higher level. That's and I see it with my own eyes. It's very, very unfortunate. And right in the place where I pray, there are many like elderly people, right? And they exactly, I think they, not everyone, but many, like they were on the same level when they were maybe 12, exactly the same. Nothing changed. I mean, they absorb. I mean, they were absorbed at 12 and they absorbed in 72. Like nothing changed, right? But unfortunately, not much change since then, unfortunately. Not only there, but in the other places I saw. Right, unfortunately. Rav Yaakov's message was clear. There are times when a person must reach up and accept more strict approach for the sake of the growth. So meaning, and that's what we said in our clip, right? So you have to put yourself on the next madre, on the next level. How do you put yourself? You start acting like that. You decided. Nobody can decide for you. Of course, you can ask Rabbi if you think I'm ready. So Rabbi would ask you a few questions, and then if he knows you're good enough and you're honest enough, because most people are not honest. Unfortunately, they lie to Rabbi, lie to themselves, lie to the whole world. But if you are, so you most likely he would encourage you. I give you a blessing on something, and so you have to step up a notch, right? And unless you do it like, but how do you go to the next level? You do something extra, above and beyond whatever you did before. Okay. Okay. Last sentence. A note of caution, however, be wise and always seek advice in advance, right? I mean, that's what we said. Even without reading the last sentence, so we always say, so you have to ask a question. Okay, continue. Okay. So we left off on this part. Do not be overly righteous. Okay, and continue. The proper course for a man to follow is to be clean in all affairs. Right. For the cleanliness is the road to the good deeds. Meaning clean, like in physical sense and a spiritual sense. What should he do? Let him wear average clothing, neither expensive, gaudy attire of everyone stares, right? And not pauper's clothing that shames the wearer. So meaning this clothing, this expensive clothing, and this this poor person clothing, they attract attention, right? So everybody's there. So we have to be like invisible in some sense, right? But plain, of course, but pleasant. Pleasant is necessary, not ugly. Pleasant, clean garments. The poor according to his poorness. So meaning just because somebody's poor, we don't say that it's his guilt or something. It might be, but that's not time and place and discuss why some people are poor, right? Okay. We actually have 3 clips or 4 clips why people are poor, I think. Right, so it's from different book, but yeah. Okay, so clean, poor according to his poorness, no problem. And rich man according to his wealth. Okay, and it is forbidden to wear the stained or soiled garments. So I mean, in my office, I had few changes just in case, like I have extra shorts, this and that. So like in my drawer, just in case, you never know. Right? Soiled garments. They should not be torn, right, and should not be fashioned like the clothing of the haughty, right? Like clothing of the haughty, like I don't know, with people on the street, like non-Jews are wearing. So it's very, very important not to be like that. Okay. So in commentaries say, clothing clothing that does not raise eyebrows to attract attention is always safe manner of attire. So many of the person like, what? Right? Because of the color, because of the style, like holes, chas v'shalom, right? Living in a society that saturated with a philosophy that exploits people for the sake of sales, right, makes it that such a more difficult to maintain the Torah standards of dress. Needless to say, so meaning like even for example, if you live not too far from Jewish neighborhood when they have a Jewish store clothing, right? There's no problem. But sometimes if people shop on the internet, there is not such an easy thing to buy, right? So I wanted to buy jackets. I said regular fit, but for them regular fit is like crazy. Like everything must be tight. Like a men's jacket, I said like there is a fit. They're modern fit. It's like extra slim. But you even go to with a classic, like regular classic. You don't need all of this like regular, like in olden days. And it was not such an easy thing, believe it or not. Believe it or not, to find. Right, because of this crazy society. So people people overweight and they would still want tight clothing. I'm not sure why. Oh, right. Right. So again, the whole sentence: live in a society that is saturated with philosophy that exploits people for the sake of sales. Make it that such more difficult to maintain the Torah standard of dress. But in my mind, if you set up in your mind, you go to the online store, whatever, like a department store, and you say like all of this. There you say you want to buy suits. So how many? 1,400 suits, different. I'm just making up, sorry. So you say this is not good. This is so tight. So you end up with 5. That's it. Like don't even look on others. Needless to say that the statement of Ben Hey is certainly applicable here, right? When he says the reward for observance Hashem's commandment increases in a proportion to the effort of the difficulty needed for its performance, and that's what we always say. And we discussed it when we had the question about people who start everybody have a different head start. And people were born in difficult families, difficult circumstances. So many times they complain. I mean, not in our class, but in the outside world, right? We all have tzaddikim here, right? But people complain, and the person says, "I cannot achieve anything. How can I be religious? My father is like this. My mother abused me." Like I said, but you're 43 years old. You remember you told me you're 43, right? You said, "Yeah, but my mother abused me again and again and again." You understand? So, but we always have to remember this. this Mishnah from Orchos. So Hashem is going to reward everything according to the efforts, right? So meaning the more person exhorting themselves. For example, I know people. I have a guy sitting next to me. He knows the Torah by heart. By heart, he reads Torah for us. He's a doctor. He's not professional. He's Torah by heart. And the end of the Shabbos, there is all of these beautiful blessings, and it takes me 15 minutes to read, maybe 20, not 20, 15, 20 minutes to read. Well, do I know by heart? A few verses I do know. Maybe 5, maybe 10 verses I do. Maybe 10, 15 verses. That's it. The guy knows everything by heart, and I hear him. He does not touch the book. He sometimes another person would come and try to read from Torah, and he can. So they call this guy. He did not prepare. He did not. He started reading from anywhere. He's beautiful with all of the notes. Some people can read. They don't know the notes. Right? Or they do just tune some Chabadniks do. No tune basically. But there is a special notes in the Torah, special notes. So he does all of the beautiful notes. So for him, to read the Torah, of course, he's very, very talented individual, very amazing. Hashem bless him and his kids. He has amazing kids, also very talented. Baruch Hashem, his son started reading for us. He's 14 years old. So what this 14 years old does, most of the congregation cannot do. You understand? But so he has a big reward. But other person who reads can read half a page, and he spend on this half a page and memorizing the song Ashes Chayil, right? Whatever we sing in Friday night. Again, every sentence, go back again. So of course, this person gets much bigger reward. So because Hashem is a true judge, he does not go by the result, because the results is up to him, but he goes by the efforts, right? And if we all take into our mind that Hashem is going to reward us for efforts, there is what could be better, right? So all the depressions just falls off. That's what I think, because people think if I don't perform, so that's why I'm losing. No. Okay, so continue. His food should be clean, right? He should not eat food of royalty, right? Don't spend all of this money, right, on food, but plain food, right, and plain drink, of course, nutritious, nice, good, healthy, as Rambam told us, that as he can afford. So don't do over, right? And about over we're going to discuss. He should not drink or eat. He should not drink or eat from the repulsive vessels. Lest he transgress, do not abominate yourself, as it says in Vayikra 11:43. So meaning. Right, as we said before, the Talmud says that 3 things makes a person happy, man at least. Right, what women as well. I think his house where he lives. Right, the surroundings, his wife, right, and this his wife, and beautiful vessels. So how many plates do they need? Just buy good plates, whatever you like. 2 plates, 3 plates. That's it. Understand? It does not have to be 60 plates different. So right. So must be person must like them, right? Okay, but should be done with cleanliness, right? Everything must be clean. Also, his table and his bed should be clean, right? Also, his affairs should be clean. Right, all of his affairs should be clean. Meaning how you conduct our business, how we with other people, right? How with our spouse, how with our parents, our children, our co-workers, our rabbi, our other people. All of the affairs. His body should be clean and not sweaty. So now we're going from spiritual to physical. So it's very important. So is it mitzvah to be clean? Yes. It's absolutely mitzvah to be clean. And some people, they go so in this there is a custom. There is a custom not to take shower is in 3 weeks. before before the ninth of Av. And some people, they actually were very strict with this custom, but it's in the summer, and they dressed with the whole with all with the vest, with the jacket, with the tallis, with the short, with this, with that. I mean, when they swear, so everybody know. I mean, if you work from your house, from computer or a computer, you work on your backyard. You're making, I don't know, you have your own shop. You're making furniture. There is no problem. But if you take in public transportation, that's bad. That's very bad. I also just say, yeah, in these cases, yeah, you're not allowed to take a shower. For example, last 9 days, right from Rosh Hashanah at least, right? But if it's not for pleasure, but for cleanliness, like physical cleanliness, they allow with the cold water, like very fast. I don't enjoy like just to wash the sweat. So some people they try to be like holy, but they're not. They actually create Hillel Hashem, especially in Israel. It's like many people take public transportation, and it's very hot. In this like in that period of time, it's very hot. It's the middle of the summer. He should take care to wash his face, hands, and feet, and also the entire body in regular intervals. So whatever regular intervals is, as we learn from Rambam, 7 days, 10 days, whatever is it, every day. As we find in the case of Hillel the Elder, when he took leave from his disciples, right, and walked along, of his disciples, and walked along with them, they asked him, "Where are you going?" So they were walking together, and he said, "1 second, I need to go somewhere." Right, and he started going somewhere else. He answered to the mitzvah. They asked which mitzvah are you going to do. He said that to bathe in the bathhouse. So like so it is so important. Of course, like the Talmud brings us like sometimes extreme examples, extreme story, but to bring to drive the point home, right? That sometimes if you swear. So, like in the middle of the study, it is a mitzvah, a learning session, to stop and go to take a shower. And they ask, is it a mitzvah? He answered, yes. With respect to the statue of the king, right? So the statue of the king, they would wash. And guess what? These people, they're not like cheap workers or something. They actually, the caretaker, they treated like dignitaries, royal dignitaries, which is very important. So if they wash these statues of the king, like these idol worshippers, right, and they've been paid. So well and respect. So needless to say, I am a Jew who created is in the image of Hashem, right? It is further written, Hashem made all for His sake, right? So it's very important. It's the thing that many people forget, I think, right? So Hashem said, whatever I made in this world, it's only for me. Oh, so and many people think that Hashem is there to satisfy their desires, meaning they're going to pray to Him, they're going to ask Him for stuff, that therefore He should give them stuff, and basically that's His role in a person's life. But Hashem somehow He disagrees, and He says differently. He said that I create this world for my sake only. So meaning we all must serve Him. Right, so let's see quickly commentary. This means that everything that Hashem created was for His honor. Hashem wants all man's action to result in Him, to result in Him being honored. Meaning that whatever we do in this life, we have to honor Hashem. So when person does the mitzvahs, right? He honors Hashem because why I'm doing the mitzvah? Because Hashem said so. Why I'm learning the Torah? Because Hashem said so. Why I'm making the bracha before drinking my tea? So because Hashem said so, right? So with all of this action, we're honoring Hashem. Okay, being honored and satisfies through those whom He created. Okay. Sanctified, right? So meaning it's our role to sanctify Hashem. Rashi says that when people keep themselves clean, right, and others see them, they say, "Blessed is he who has in this way of his world. Blessed is he who has it this way in his world." Right? So it's Rashi on Shabbos 50b, meaning that the people see a religious Jew behaving like this way, for example, clean, right, physically clean, spiritually clean from all of the bad things. So they praise Hashem, right? Why? Because that's what Hashem said. So because religious people say, "I'm doing because Hashem said." And it says in the Talmud, don't say, I don't like this kosher food, a pig or something, right? Or lobster because it's disgusting, right? So no, I would like, it's looks like very nice, very delicious, smells very good, but what can I do? That my God, Creator said, don't do it for you, you're not allowed to eat, that's it. Right, so that's the only reason, not because it's disgusting. So if it's disgusting, there is no mitzvah. So you would not eat chicken if it would be disgusting to you, right? And there is no mitzvah, no kiddush Hashem. But here's kiddush Hashem is when we say, "I'm not going to do it because Hashem said so." Almost done. All who are heedful to these things for the sake of the mitzvah, and not for intent upon adorning and aggrandizing themselves, though what they do may appear to be haughtiness, since their intent is for the sake of Hashem, there is a great mitzvah. So maybe like the same actions, right? But it's actually the great mitzvah. Okay, all right. So we stop here. Sorry, it was a little longer, but was connected. No problem.